Hi Kibbers and families, welcome back. This week I want to talk to you about some of the tips and strategies that we are sharing with the little ones in terms of reading their old favorite books. Now, what are old favorite books? Those are the books that you became expert at. So books that you've read many times. Now, how many is many? At least 10 times, at the very least, 10 times or more. This is a book that they've heard an adult read with them or read to them more than 10 times. Doesn't have to be consecutive, so not every single night, but this is a book maybe they've had for a while and you've read it to them more than 10 times. They know parts of the book, they understand how the story flows, and sometimes they even chime in when you read the story. That's how you know it's an old favorite book. So some of the strategies that we are sharing in class, because we are learning that we are storybook readers. And what do storybook readers do? One of the things that storybook readers do is that we look at the picture, remember the parts, and then read the page. Let me show you what that means. This is Doc's Colorful Day. We've seen that and I've recommended it since September. For example, let's turn to the first page. First, we look at the picture. Take a look. Oh, there's Dog. This is Dog. And Dog has one black spot on the left ear. Now let's remember what happened in this part of the book. This is the part where we get to know Dog and knows that he has one black spot on the ear. Now let's try reading it. So this is something that they might do. This is Dog, and he has a black spot on the ear. So they did it. Look at the picture, remember the parts, and read or tell about the page. They shouldn't be telling you about how he has 10 spots or that he has a pink spot because it's not showing on the picture. Strategy number 2 that we are sharing in class is we talk like the characters. So different characters have different voices, and we want to make sure that the little ones are engaged in telling the story and reading the books, and we want them to use the character voice. So at this part of the book, where, let's look at the picture, Doc goes to his owner, Vicky, and then Vicky said something to Dog, and Vicky said silly dog to him. Now, what do you think Vicky's voice would sound like? Would she sound like a troll? Like, silly dog? No, she wouldn't sound like that. Use a voice that sounds like what Vicky would sound like. She might say, silly dog. So use a voice like your character. If you're reading about the 3 Billy Goats Gruff, sound like the troll. If you are reading The Little Old Lady Who Is Not Afraid of the Dark or Afraid of Anything, sound like the little old lady. Make sure you make your voice sound like the character. One more strategy to share this week. It's called we find, point to, and read some of the words. At this point, we want the little ones to start noticing, hey, on a page, there are pictures and there are words. And we want them to start noticing them and start looking at them and maybe even start associating them with some of the sounds and some of the words that they can read. Sneaky words are a very handy tool for them to use. They know to, they know is, they know we, and they know the. So these are some of the words that you can look for on the pages and use them as you're reading. For example, let's look at this page. Remember, we look at the picture. Oh look, he's rolling on the grass. And now think and remember the part. This is the part where Doc was rolling on the grass and he got a green stain from the grass. Now let's read the words. Try and point to the words as you read. You might say something like, Doc goes to the park. Oh look, you found to and the. That helps you read and tell the story. He rolls on the grass. Now they know that on this page, these are the words are going to help them tell the story. So here are 3 of the strategies we shared today as we are practicing to be storybook readers. Number 1, we look at the pictures, remember what happens, and read. Number 2, We talk like the characters. And number 3, we find, point to, and read some of the words. We're not expecting them to read all of the words, but as long as they're having the awareness that there are words and there are pictures, and the words on the page helps you tell the story. Are you ready for Mrs. Ng's book pick this week? This week, I've read them the book, How Full Is Your Bucket? Now the concept of the bucket is very common in the grown-up world, and this book is made for little kids. In this book, it shows a visual of what the bucket might look like. So every time that something good happens, oh, we were reading it again, so I have the book marked. When something not so good happens, Felix's bucket dips and it pours out. So you can even use a more concrete example as you're reading this book. Take a cup and fill it with some water and show them. When something not so good happened to you, when people are not being nice to you, when you're feeling frustrated, this is what happens to your bucket. And you can pour just a little bit out. And then you can say, oh, if something else not so good happened to you again, or if you're feeling upset about something, that happens again. And they start to see and conceptualize the idea that when they are not feeling good, their feelings and their bucket drips, and that it makes them feel bad inside. And sometimes when you feel bad inside, some people might do choices that are not so good. And then you can show them how to fill their bucket by doing kind things, by being nice to each other, by being nice to yourself, and by helping other people so that you can help fill their bucket and your bucket as well. And that's what Felix, the character, found out, that when he helps other people fill a bucket, his buckets get filled too. This is a nice story to introduce the idea of sympathy, empathy, and helping other people and taking care of themselves. That's all for this week. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.